No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown for March the 10th. Happy Mario Day to everybody out there. Anyways, shout outs to the early birds, Joey Perez, Tic Tat Tat, Matthew, Randy Engel, Mike B, Walter Cruz, of course, CC Drink, K Dog 28, Matt Helms, and Claudie. Much appreciated. Now, let's get into this recap as we get closer to WrestleMania. Footage was shown from Monday Night Raw. The Usos throughout the years in this video package. And of course, the clip of Jey Uso betraying Sami Zayn. Usos arrived. They wanted to know where Roman Reigns was. Paul Heyman hugged Jey Uso, said that Roman is so proud of Jey. And then Jey was asked by Kayla Braxton if he had any comment, and Jey said that he would say everything in the ring. We had our first match of the evening, which was a 5-way to determine Gunther's opponent at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, Karrion Kross, LA Knight, and Sheamus. They brawled on the outside of the ring for a little bit. Karrion Kross and LA Knight were working together, but that quickly dissolved. You had Imperium show up around midway through the match to watch things. We had 2 commercial breaks. Lengthy match here. McIntyre was upside down in the corner, and he sat up and ended up delivering a German suplex to LA Knight as LA Knight was superplexing Karrion Kross. Crowd popped big for that move. Sheamus did the 10 beats on Kross and then again on LA Knight. Drew McIntyre came in. There was a face-off between them. And then Xavier Woods came off the top, but got caught with a bro kick. And as this was happening, Drew McIntyre hit LA Knight with the Claymore, and there was a double pin. 2 referees out there. Karrion Kross was not involved, but a double pin. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus win. But what does this mean for WrestleMania? The crowd was chanting triple threat, and there was an update on this, so stay tuned. Match was good, and I'll talk a little bit more about it here in just a few moments. We had Paul Heyman interviewed backstage, basically talking about Cody Rhodes and how the most gangster way to handle Cody is to give him the truth. And Heyman said by the time they get to WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes will already be a defeated opponent. Backstage, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus were arguing. The Brawling Brutes had to break them up. They were just trying to get TV time, I'm thinking. We had the first person for the 2023 Hall of Fame finally revealed, the first inductee. It's about time. We're only 3 weeks away now, and this first person, I presume the headliner, is Rey Mysterio. I guess things with Batista fell through. Rey Mysterio going into the Hall of Fame, he's still an active competitor, and I'm sure this will just fuel the speculation about Rey Mysterio retiring after WrestleMania. Like, the big rumor was that Rey would put over Dominic at WrestleMania and pass the torch. And now this looks like it's even more obvious. So it's interesting to me. I'm not sure how I feel about it because I feel like it even more confirms what is going to happen with Dominic. I'm just wondering what happened with Batista. Rey does make sense for California, for Los Angeles, but still, when is Dave Batista going in? Doesn't look like it's this year. And maybe that's why there was such a lengthy delay in the Hall of Fame announcement. So Rey Mysterio came to the ring, and the crowd chanted, "You deserved it. You deserve it." But before he could even really say anything, Dominic and Judgment Day showed up. Dominic said, "It's pathetic. How many holidays did Rey Mysterio miss over the years to make this Hall of Fame career?" Dominic said he's ashamed to be Rey's son. And at this point, Legado del Fantasma arrived to set up a 6-man tag team match. We had a good match here with these two teams. Trios match, to use a term from AEW. Legado was working well, some quick tags, and Judgment Day did get the upper hand for a while, and then Legado made a comeback. Zelina Vega went after Rhea Ripley on the outside, but got caught, and then Rey Mysterio went over and had some words with Rhea Ripley. Dominic hit Rey with a baseball slide, and then Legado was on the verge of pinning Dominic, but Rey Mysterio got on the apron. Referee was distracted. Damian Priest got involved, and that led to Dominic scoring the pinfall victory for his team. And after the match was over, Dominic wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with his father, Rey Mysterio. Rey got in the ring, and Dominic called Rey a deadbeat dad. He should win the Deadbeat Dad Hall of Fame award. And Dominic said at the end of the day, he should have been Eddie's son. Of course, a reference to Eddie Guerrero. Dominic shoved Rey and then charged at Rey, but Rey ducked down and held the rope down. Dominic went over the top. So a little tease of Rey getting more physical, but Rey was basically just defending himself as Dominic was charging him. But they're continuing to set up when Rey is finally going to snap. And maybe Rey does walk out of WrestleMania as the winner. We'll see what happens. But yes, Dominic Mysterio continuing to instigate. Rey Mysterio officially going into the Hall of Fame. We had Charlotte Flair backstage with Adam Pearce. Pearce has his hands full with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, but Charlotte wanted a match, and Pearce said he'll work on it. Next up, we had a tag team match. Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus the Viking Raiders. Pretty standard tag team match here. Ricochet got in some offense, but then the Viking Raiders worked them over, and the Viking Raiders for a while prevented Strowman from making a tag. Eventually, Strowman got in the hot tag, cleaned house, tagged in Ricochet, which pretty much means Ricochet's doing the JOB here. Strowman went to the outside, did the Strowman Express, but missed Eric as Sarah Logan pulled Eric out of harm's way. And then Sarah taunted Ricochet, which that momentarily distracted Ricochet enough to where he went for the 450. Ivar avoided it and then went up to the top and hit a top rope splash and picked up the win. Good win here for the Viking Raiders. They scored the victory here. So yeah, match was fine. Don't know what's going on with either of these teams for WrestleMania, but they got some TV time here. And yes, Vikings pick up what you could say was a much needed win. Backstage, Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, chewed out Adam Pearce and said that he was supposed to have a challenger, singular, for WrestleMania. And Pearce had a solution. No triple threat. Next week, it will be Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. And the winner of that match will go on to WrestleMania. We've all been thinking triple threat. Are they going to go with the singles match, or are we going to get yet another screwy finish next week, another double pin, they knock each other out type of deal, or they both get counted out. So what is going to happen here next week? All I know is I feel a little cheated. Like I tune into SmackDown and I expect the challenger to be determined. And when they do the double pin, okay, fine, but then just make it a triple threat. So they're dragging this out another week now, essentially rendering the 5-way match a waste of time. Like we should have just either done Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre in the first place or make it a triple threat. The fans chanted triple threat, so you would think we're getting a triple threat match. Anyways, we had Charlotte Flair versus Schatzi, the opponent chosen by Adam Pearce. And match was fine, but I mean, it is what it is. Shotzi's not beating Charlotte. No way, no how. Even with Rhea Ripley out there, Rhea Ripley came down to ringside. There was some respect between Charlotte and Shotzi. Shotzi got in a little bit of offense, but it was almost a glorified squash match here. Despite Rhea being out there, Charlotte, and rightfully so, should be not getting distracted. She picked up the win with the figure 8. And then afterwards, Rhea got in the ring, and Charlotte was like, "What do you want to say, kid?" Rhea said that Charlotte can wipe the smug look off of her face. Rhea said that she sees all of Charlotte's insecurities, and Charlotte responded by saying that she will outwork anybody, male or female, because she does believe in herself, believe she's the best and all that, and she's vowing to leave WrestleMania still the SmackDown Women's Champion. And then we had our final segment of the evening, the Usos coming out to the ring, Jey Uso explaining why he betrayed Sami Zayn. He asked the people, what would they do in this type of situation? Well, they would do anything for their family. And that's what Jey did. He did not want to betray Sami Zayn, but Jimmy Uso is his twin, his brother, his family. Sami Zayn is not. And the people just don't know what Jey Uso has been going through. Jey Uso has one person to blame, and that is Sami Zayn. All Sami Zayn had to do, according to Jey, was fall in line. But he wouldn't know how to do that because his ass is not blood, and it never will be. Jey said that with one problem gone, they are now going to focus on the remaining problem, which is Cody Rhodes. And of course, right on cue, Cody Rhodes shows up, music, the whole 9 yards. Cody said he answers to the people, not Roman Reigns, and they want to see a fight. So he was ready to take care of business. And the Usos said that they will put Cody on the shelf just like they did Sami Zayn, but a little premature to say that. Sami Zayn showed up, attacked Jey. Cody got in the ring. We had a huge brawl. They fought in the crowd. They came back into the ring, and good guys cleared the ring to wrap up SmackDown. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, do you think KO and Sami Zayn reunite in the next 7 days? I definitely think that it's coming soon, but would not shock me if they hold it out. I mean, they're dragging these storylines out, and it is a good idea to not let things peak too soon. You don't want to shoot the big angle and then have 3 weeks left before WrestleMania. So I'm not really sure when the right time is, but I could see them waiting until the last week. I mention it every week when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose reunited. It was like right at the go-home show when they finally had the big moment. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, KO and Sami have to fight each other before joining. Well, I don't necessarily think that's the case, but with Cody Rhodes firmly aligned with Sami Zayn now, and the little tease on Raw where Cody was talking to KO, he's going to try to be the mediator. So we may get another 2 weeks. Like I don't think it's going to happen next week. I feel like there still has to be some kind of promo with Cody and KO on television before we get the reunion. But I'm thinking not next week, but the week after, not the go home week, if I had to make a prediction at this point. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat, says, Jey Uso should have said, I never wanted Sami in the bloodline. I told y'all he wasn't family. Instead, this speech made it seem like he still loves Sami Zayn. Well, see, I think that makes sense that Jey did learn to care for Sami. But think about Breaking Bad. When Mike told Walt all you had to do was know your place, but you had to screw everything up. And that's basically what happened, although Sami really didn't screw things up, but he was between a rock and a hard place. That was a Better Call Saul episode too, where Sami Zayn had to choose either the bloodline or his best friend. And at first he did choose the bloodline over his best friend, Sami Zayn. But then, of course, at the Royal Rumble, Roman was really pushing him and, all the gaslighting and everything. So Sami Zayn was really put in a difficult decision. And at the end, he did not deliver the final blow to KO. And that's ultimately what set everything into motion. Sami did the right thing in the end, but yeah, he got out of the bloodline, and the bloodline, they are blood. Blood is thicker than water. And yeah, makes sense to me that Jey, he had a friendship with Sami Zayn, but at the end of the day, if he has to choose between his brother, his actual blood brother, and Sami Zayn, he's sticking with family through thick and thin. So anyways, SmackDown was not bad. Some filler, like I said, the 5-way match, like knowing how it all played out, and they're doing another match next week, kind of skippable. Charlotte versus Schatzi. It was fine. The promo was fine, but didn't really do much for me. Last segment was the highlight of the show, but still doing the slow build and the teasing. The Rey and Dominic stuff was good. So overall, I probably go with a B-. Like it wasn't a great show, but it was fine. Somewhat recommend would be my final take on it. City by the Bay, I would say SmackDown was slightly better than Dynamite. Actually, maybe quite a bit better than Dynamite. Raw was the best show of the week of the three, with the big angle, with Jey betraying Sami. That to me was the key segment from any show this week. Thank you all for watching. Much love and appreciation to everybody out there. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and spread the word. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, could we see Cody, KO, and Sami versus the Bloodline before WrestleMania? I would hold off on that. And I'll tell you why. They have the upcoming Backlash pay-per-view in Puerto Rico, and I think that would be a hot main event. 6-man tag team match, Roman and the Usos versus Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. I would save it for that. I mean, they might have something else coming up. Matthew, you can ask Virtue that question. Maybe he'll talk about it. But yeah, I think that 6-man's too big to give away on free TV. I think that could actually headline Backlash, unless they got something better, and maybe they do. But we'll see. Keith Johnson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Keith. Says, Aaron, what's going on with Bray Wyatt? No build-up. Well, nothing on SmackDown. They only got a 2-hour show, and I'm thinking maybe not having a segment, and this is how ridiculous the whole feud is. I almost feel like not having interaction between Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt is better for the buildup than actually having them do segments, as crazy as that sounds. Like, I'd rather just leave it to my imagination. Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley. They're gonna have a match at WrestleMania. Like, I don't need all the Firefly Funhouse stuff and the video of Muscle Man and all that stuff. Like, they could just say, okay, WrestleMania, it's Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley, and don't do any buildup. I almost feel that's better than what they actually do. What they actually do, I feel like, makes me less interested in seeing that match. So yeah, I just think it's a matter of 2 hours, and there'll probably be something else on Raw. Anyways, guys, that's it. I'm out for the night. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Take care. Have a great night. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.